to everybody to today's session. Just as you are, we are recording this session, so we can send that out to anyone who would like that. Also, the session that I've put together today, I can get this out to all of you as well. I have included lots of resources in here, and I will be going across to those resources as we go through this presentation. So we won't just be staring at PowerPoint. We're going through lots of different web pages in here, and you'll have access to all of those resources. Now, very quickly before we begin, we have had some comments in the chat already. I am looking at the chat constantly, so if you see me looking over here, that's because I can see the chat. I can also see all your names as well, so if there are any hands up or anything like that, I can come across to you. If you do have any questions, please pop them into the chat for me. If you don't know where that is, it will be on your toolbar. Again, just look around your screen, you'll find it at the top, bottom, however you've got Zoom set up, and there will be a speech bubble with the word chat underneath it. If you just click on there, you can pop in any questions you may have or share any thoughts in there. I can also pop links in there as we go throughout. Now, like with most of my presentations that I deliver, I think it's really important to supply you with the resources so you've actually got access to that information so you don't just go away and then forget about it. So what I'm going to do, as I say, is I'm going to walk through different resources that are readily available to you. So I've brought together information from different sources here, so government sources, NHS, and then other organizations as well. And you have access to that. Now, assistive technology is such a broad subject, I think we can all agree, that we could sit here and we could talk all day, if not all week, about assistive technology, because technology is such a huge part of society, as we know. And with the exponential growth in technology, we are seeing more forms of technology that can assist in everyday life than really ever before. And what I've done is I've just quickly thrown up a definition that the government have put together for assistive technology. And obviously it's used to describe products or systems that support and assist individuals with disabilities, restricted mobility, or other impairments to perform functions that might otherwise be impossible. Now, it is very important just to make clear that just because a product is used in healthcare, or used by a healthcare professional, doesn't mean it's a medical device. And we know there are loads of other assistive technologies that fall outside of that remit. And we all probably use assistive technologies ourselves on a personal level every day. I certainly do. Just to throw out an example, I use applications on my phone to assist me for directions. I use my smartwatch, which if I was to have a fall while I was out running, it would send an emergency beacon to contacts that I have selected. And really, we have lots of different assist technologies. Also, there's those smart speakers as well. And also, we might, all of us, or some of us might use features such as smart devices, smart locks, whatever it might be. So it really is a very broad subject. But when we're looking specifically at healthcare, which obviously meet all of our needs here today, so it would be relevant to all of us in the fields that we work in. We're looking at how assistive technology can solve problems and also support quality of life. So for instance, we can use it to support people with memory problems, problems with planning, carrying out each step of a task, communication, so speech, hearing, obviously we've got mobility in there, keeping safe both inside and outside the home. Again, there's a huge field of technology now, which is all around keeping people safe. And not only when we're looking at others safe, we can also use technology to keep ourselves safe. So as I mentioned before, I have my smartwatch, which protects me if I'm in a very remote location and something goes horribly wrong. It can send off automatic distress beacons with my location, but there are so many technologies now. We've also got maintaining independence and self-confidence, one that we would all agree is a huge factor here. And then finally, socializing and doing things we enjoy. So keeping people connected and integrated in society. And again, those technologies can be things such as using smart devices, even computer systems, even having Zoom calls like we're all on now, just keeping people connected. And we really can start to think about how technology can assist those we are supporting and even ourselves. And when we start to look at how many assistive technologies there are, really, as I say, very broad, and the list is almost endless, it does seem. So again, I've just thrown just 4 key benefits of assistive technology in here. So again, just bringing together some of the pieces that we looked at a moment ago. We've got that increased independence piece, so obviously helps individuals perform tasks on their own. We know independence is crucial, especially in healthcare. And there are so many technologies now that can support people in feeling independent and keeping some form of independence there. Improve communication, so enhance the ability to interact and communicate with others. So again, even just using our day-to-day devices, so even a phone, you'd probably be surprised at how many features are actually on there to support people being able to communicate or interact with those devices. And again, you can do quite extensive searches on there on those phones. If it's Android, you can literally go to search on the phone. So you go to search and just start typing out something like if it's to do with text, so enlarged text or things like that, it will support you. And again, we got iOS, which has a whole range of support in there too. Now, enhanced learning provides tools that support educational activities and learning, and then better quality of life. So again, probably the one that we'd all agree is huge here, and that is that quality of life piece. How can we use technology to help improve people's quality of life, daily living activities, and overall well-being? And just this week, working with a care home, I've heard how they've used technology to integrate and obviously provide better well-being. And I'll be careful to say the word because it will probably set mine off, but using an Alexa device, so that smart device. The residents in this care home quite reliant on these smart devices, really supports with their day-to-day. And someone in that care home, obviously, they've lost their sight, and they're quite reliant on these smart devices. And just recently, this care home have had a problem with their internet connectivity, and as a result, they've lost the ability to use these smart devices, and had quite a knock-on effect on the well-being. So again, it just shows how beneficial these devices can be. I'm going to get onto a piece as well a bit later on of how important broadband connectivity actually is when we're using devices as assistive tech. So again, I can get this slideshow out to all of you. I have packed it full of links, and we will be exploring some of those as we go throughout this presentation today. So we're just going to start off with tech devices to stay safe, and one that we're probably all very aware of or familiar with what we encounter in our work are personal alarms. So obviously personal alarms allow you to get help if you have a problem or have a fall at home, or if someone wanders off when out of the home. Again, that's specifically looking at that healthcare environment. And again, we can also have personal alarms for ourselves. And as you see, I have one myself. It doesn't just have to fall into that area. So there is a very wide range, I don't know how to say it, of resources and technology devices that are available. It doesn't have to just specifically be ones tailored to healthcare. You'd be surprised at the devices you can get quite cheap and actually bring them in to care homes to support people as well. It doesn't just have to be ones marketed down that area. Now, obviously, they can be either carried or worn, or they can be a button or a pull cord. And again, I've just put together a list of personal alarms. So you've got those basic alarms, which we're probably aware of, that make those loud noises. We've got alarms which send those alerts to family members, maybe on their phone, maybe a pager. Again, depends on the system you're buying. Monitor alarms, which alert a 24-hour monitoring service, and we'll get into that as well. And I've got a list of services that you can connect with on there. Fall detectors, and then also GPS tracking alarms. So again, very useful, help family carers know where you are. And they're more readily available than they've ever been, those GPS tracking systems. And you can actually get them quite cheap now in some cases. If you just do your research, again, obviously check the accuracy of those. I would always suggest that you read reviews. A tip here is if you do a web search and just type in unbiased reviews, you can, and then also source reviews from lots of different pages. I wouldn't just go with one site, because a lot of people do get commission to post certain reviews or only review certain products. So just check those reviews when you are looking at certain systems, especially if you can get them quite low value if you don't have the funding in place. Now, the NHS, if you go through to the NHS website and look at assisted technology, specifically when we're looking at personal alarms, they hand you off to an article, which I found very useful myself, having gone through it in quite a lot of detail. And that's which.com. They have a guide full of information on what you're looking for in personal alarms, different types of personal alarms, also reviews on there as well. So they've done their own reviews, they've put those together. Just go across, show you what that looks like. And again, I have pulled this from the NHS website and they've recommended this resource. So no affiliation there, but this is just something which you can get direct access to on that site. So again, we've got the web page here and it is included in this presentation. So all you need to do is just click on the link. It will take you straight to this website. I'll also put it in the chat as well, but it does supply you with really all the information on looking at personal alarms. So firstly, we've got types of personal alarms, just goes through the different alarms, which I've just mentioned, but obviously it gives you a visual on there. It also goes through the pros and the cons of each of those alarms. So obviously we've got those pendant alarms in there, fall detectors. And again, it gives you a description of it, goes through the pros, goes through the cons, and you can then go through, see what is most suitable in there. Now, again, when I did mention the GPS tracking, a lot of these do require a subscription service. So do your research, check those, see what funding is available, or if it isn't, what's most cost effective with the best reviews. You want an accurate GPS tracker. There are GPS trackers out there which you get them and it shows that they can be very inaccurate. I myself have come across one for other things which I've used, so just tracking personal devices, and the GPS has been way off. It will say I'm in a field 2 miles away, and no matter how hard I try and fix that, it's not a great product for my area. So again, I've included the link in there. The NHS does link you straight across to this. Probably some of the most useful information in here, where you can buy these personal alarms, and then also can you get free personal alarms. So it goes through, again, if you do have funding available, how to get that. It's a very useful resource. And I'm not going to go through it here today in detail, because again, it's a big resource. And it also does link you off to lots of different partners that they've worked with. And again, I'll be here all day, if not all week, if I went through just this one resource. So that is why I have included that in this presentation today. Now, secondly, we're looking at monitoring systems. So two types of monitoring systems. There are systems connected to a monitoring center, and there are smart systems sending updates directly to family or carers. So again, they can help us stay safe at home. They can alert someone if there's a problem. And again, the things that they can sense or detect are things like movement, doors opening, room temperature, flooding, incontinence, smoke or gas, and even they can check and monitor if appliances are left on. These are very useful tools, especially if we're looking at people with restricted mobility. They can't get access to turning things off. Maybe they've had a fall. Maybe if we're looking at people with cognitive impairment, if they're forgetting that appliances have been left on, like cookers, you can see where this is could be quite dangerous. Water. They have sensors that can detect all these things now. Technology has really come a very long way. And what I often say is, if you can think about something that needs to be solved in the technology environment, it probably already has. And if you do some research on it, it's probably already out there. And it's really about you assessing residents' needs, or those that you're caring for, or those that you're around day to day. and then solving that problem with the technology that might be available. So it does include doing a bit of research out there. And as I said, these monitoring systems, they'll send alerts to family, carers, care home. Again, it can be used in a whole range of environments. And some systems can also adjust or turn off appliances when they detect problems. So you can actually adjust appliances remotely. And there are also security features included in some of these, such as intercom that shows family who's at your door and allows them to open doors for you as well. So you can even have control on opening and closing doors. We know especially people in a vulnerable environment can be incredibly helpful there. And you can also now tailor these systems as well to include what you need. So really huge range here. And again, as I say, and I stress this in all of the presentations I run, technology is growing so exponentially. It's about assessing needs, trying to find solutions to problems, and then doing that research and having a look. And in the articles I've included, there are so many tools and resources available that I would hope can support you in doing that. Now, again, going through to using two resources here, I've gone through to the NHS website. I've also looked at the government website, gov.uk, and they've included all of these resources on there when we're looking at monitoring systems. So first thing that I've included on here, and if I just jump across, this is from the TSA website. They've obviously on here, they've got a member directory. So these are TSA members. And again, you can go through to all of the different telecare services on here. So they've put them all in here, A to Z. So lots of different services. Again, there are loads in there. You can also filter these by location. So obviously, if we're going Sussex, we would just go through, have a look at Sussex in here, and then we would obviously do a search and show us what is available in our area. So again, I've included this link. Anything underlined on this presentation, you can just click onto, and it'll take you straight across to the resource. I've also included, again, this was linked, and this is the Which Guide to Telecare. So again, it just goes through telecare systems. It goes through all of the same things that we looked at with personal alarms. So how do you get them? How much they cost? Can you get them for free? And then they also look at smart home monitoring systems as well in there. So we mentioned you can have telecare, you can also have smart care monitoring. Goes through both of those, weighs up the pros and cons for each. And again, I've included these in here for you, things like smart home monitoring. It goes through all the pros and cons for you to make a weighted decision based on the needs of those you are supporting, because whoever it might be, it can differ significantly. And that's where you know the people that you are caring for or in your care, you know those better than anyone, or your staff or whoever it might be that you're connected with. And you'll be able to make those informed decisions. So lots of information in here. And again, I've included this link in the presentation. And then finally, the final link I included on that slide was the smart home security and safety as well. So a whole article on smart homes, goes through smart home safety, goes through security. So again, things like burglar alarms, security cameras, carbon monoxide detectors. And these have done reviews as well in here. So they've put reviews together for you and they've rated them. And again, it just goes through different devices that you can get in here. So loads of different devices they've listed. And as I said, in here, they also have reviews that they've done as well. So again, another resource I've included. And the reason that I'm not going to go through each individual bit of tech is, as I said before, there are thousands out there now. And again, it can seem quite complicated with all of these different devices. But the benefit is we can really tailor those to the needs of those we are looking after. Are there any security concerns with these devices? Again, it'd be down to you to do the research on it. They would give you the pros and the cons of each. If you're looking at security concerns, is there anything specifically, if you just leave a comment in there, that'd be great. If there's anything specifically that you might be concerned about, If you're concerned about other people gaining access to these, again, if it's something that's linked to a smart device or something like that, again, it really, if you're going through an external company, they would have their own security measures in place. Obviously, they would have their own insurance, everything in there. Yeah, so hacking into the system. So if you're going through an external organization, which you can, a lot of these, so especially if you're looking at telecare systems, and then obviously going through TSA, there are also smart tech you can use, which, again, organizations will have the access to the information as opposed to yourself or family on an individual level. If you're looking at yourself and family holding onto those, it really is down to, again, checking those reviews, reading up on it, checking how safe and secure they actually are. And then once you have access to those, usually in an app form or a system that you have on your computer or device, it's how secure you're making that. So I run a cybersecurity session as well. It might be worth looking at those cybersecurity sessions. I am actually running one tomorrow. So cybersecurity in healthcare, which just supports people in actually securing systems that you have yourself. So if it's having a strong password, having two-factor authentication in place, again, I go through lots of different methods and how to ensure basically you have the best security in place. And if it is a system that you will be using entirely in your own control that's connected to your phone or an external device, or needs the internet to connect to, or a login, it'd be beneficial for you to come on to my cybersecurity session, because I will go through in detail how you can ensure those are protected. But if you're running through an external organization, again, you can look at trusted members. So there are member directories that the NHS does recommend, but also just checking those research, checking their certifications are valid and legitimate. It can be quite a lot of groundwork, but if it ensures the safety of yourself, your organization, your residents, it will be worth doing that research. And again, there are so many out there. I'm not going to sit here and recommend certain ones just because we would be here literally all day going through that. But and again, where I don't have an affiliation to them, I'll just hand you off to those resources instead. But do check out my cybersecurity session. It would be very beneficial to keep your systems safe. So I've also included some further help in here as well. So Age UK, they have a really useful article on telecare and telehealth. An independent Age, they have a really useful article on technology to keep you safe at home. And again, I've included both of these in here. This is what this one looks like. Just goes through what is telehealth, goes through telecare. Again, goes through different products and services. So they have put them together as well. They've made recommendations. That's from Age UK. And then again, independent Age, they look at different technologies that you can use to keep you safe. And they weigh it up in if it's actually beneficial to your residents, whoever it might be, those in care, and goes through in quite a lot of detail in there. They also offer a helpline as well in there for you. So loads of different information, include all of that for you. Now, the next, I do have 3 very short videos, which I'm going to just quickly play. They are from TSA. So there is a whole section on their website. And again, I've included that link at the bottom of each of these slides where they have loads of different videos. You can use these from a educational resource, so you can support people with those as well. I'm just going to make sure that I am sharing my sound as well. So bear with me a second, because I don't want this to come through and you can't hear anything. So we'll just make sure I'm sharing that. But as I said, I've included 3 videos. I have timestamped these videos just so it goes quickly through to the part of the video that will be most useful to you. But there are loads of videos on here. As I said, I've just pulled out 3 of them just to show how tech-enabled care can support people. And I've used 3 case studies that they've put together. So the first one looks at dementia, and then we'll go through each of those. Very quick video, only about a minute or 2 minutes long each. So I'll quickly play those for you now. So this one looks at a case study of someone who with dementia and how tech-enabled care can support them.
The right tools can help people to carry on living their lives as safely and independently as possible. As an example, Tom was diagnosed with dementia. He lives at home, doing the normal household chores, but would sometimes forget appointments, medication, and routine tasks. He was a risk to himself and others when he sometimes forgot to turn off the hob and the taps. So, heat and flood detectors were fitted and linked to a community alarm. Tom now uses a talking calendar to play messages with personalized daily reminders for eating, drinking, and medication. He also has a GPS device with him, so his family can locate and contact him anytime, anywhere. And the cost? The community alarm, flood, and heat detector are rented from Tom's local telecare provider, and his children bought his talking calendar, GPS device, and SIM card. People with social care support may receive funding towards the community alarm and telecare, but not the broadband connection. Technology-enabled care is transforming people's lives and the services which deliver care and support.
So again, as I said, there's lots of 2-minute videos on this site which just go through individual case studies. They do it from most of them from an independent living scenario, but it's just thinking about how we can assess each person on their individual needs and how much technology might actually be out there available to support that person, and using the different resources, pulling together, we can think about those. Now, there was a very important point on this presentation, on this video particularly, and that was obviously paying for your own broadband, whether it's a care home you're in or whatever situation. And if you are operating lots of different devices, and especially assistive technology, does rely on internet connection, and you've got lots of people using those, lots of devices, it's going to slow the internet speed. And again, I have spoken to several care homes already where I have done speed checks with them, and most of their issues which we need to solve are based on the fact that their internet speed is so low, and they didn't realize it was that low, and as a result it physically can't support the use of so many devices, and so they have all these devices, they've got a slow internet connection, the devices aren't working effectively, or they physically can't connect the devices because of the speed running throughout the home, that they put a huge finance in there, but they haven't put the infrastructure in place for the internet. And it might not be a case of just buying lots of boosters for your care home, because if your supplier is supplying you with internet that is low speed, but you're putting boosters through the house, it's only going to boost what you've currently got. And so it's still going to be low. So a huge tip here to everyone is check your internet speed. And there's a really simple ways you can do this. And it's something that I run with, as I said, multiple care homes. You can literally just go to a web browser and just type in speed test, which I've done here. And then from here, you can run a speed test. Now, I will say, I live in a very rural location, and the internet speed in my area are very low. So if you are alarmed at the speed of my internet, I'm just going to run a quick speed test here to show you what that is. And this is how quick my internet is at the moment. So it's 70 megabits per second. That is enough for me to run sessions. It's enough for my partner and I live in this house. It's enough for us to use multiple devices in the house. We have one booster, and that's obviously my upload speed as well. So that's how long it takes me to upload things. So those are the speeds I'm getting right now at this time. Obviously, the server I'm using is server based in London, but I'm obviously not in London right now. I would recommend you doing speed checks for your homes. Now, again, I have 70. I would consider that quite low, especially in today. And that's just for 2 people living in a house. Again, I had someone yesterday that I was supporting, a care home, and you think they have multiple residents. They had over 15 residents in this care home, all of them using devices. Now, their download speed was 10 megabits a second. And that's the reason that they couldn't use the majority of these devices. So they're paying for a service, and it was just one that was recommended to them. And that is why they could not run all of these devices, or they weren't running effectively. Now, you can then go across and do a web search. I'm just on Ofcom here, which does a speed check. So you just pop in your postcode in there. So I've just put a general postcode in there. You pop in your address. It will then tell you, and again, web browser, just type in broadband speeds available in my area. So something like that. It took me to an Ofcom website. Gone on there, put in my postcode. You can put in your exact address. It will then tell you who supplies the network to your area. So mine is OpenReach. And then it tells you what the standard download speed people are getting. So on average, people in my area are only getting 6 megabits a second. So that is very, very low. I'd consider that. You're really not going to be able to run much at all on there. You're going to notice even using laptops or trying to stream videos, that'll be very slow, and that'll be for one device. And then the fastest is obviously 80. Now, mine does range from 70 to 80, usually in the morning or early afternoon, I'm at 80 on there. So I paid for the highest broadband I could get in my area. And from there, it would then be doing a search to see what companies supply internet in there. Again, business deals, you can get business packages where they sometimes supply more internet, and they also have those services available if your internet goes down. And they will be able to support you. Again, just do a web search, for instance, different broadband providers in my area. It will then show you what speeds they provide. Again, you want to be getting the highest speed. Now, you might, again, be in an area that's very rural. The home I was supporting yesterday, they were in a very rural area, and they just didn't have the lines in place to really get, I think when I did a check, the highest they could get at the time was about 20 megabits a second. And again, if you're using as much technology as they had, it's going to be very difficult to operate day to day, and you're going to start encountering a lot of issues. And again, no affiliation. There are solutions out there. So there are companies that provide satellite internet as well. So one I'm just going to, again, I've just seen your question there. Is fiber optic more reliable? It depends on, again, one, the supplier. So you need to do the research on that. Again, companies, broadband's quite a sketchy area. You're going to end up going through a lot of reviews to see who is providing the most stable lines and provides the best service. What I'd recommend is that you would find someone who has a higher rating in terms of customer service, because and we all experience broadband issues, if you have an issue, you want to be able to get that resolved quickly. So I would always look at that aspect of it, customer service. Now, again, it depends if you actually have the ability to have fiber optic in your area. You might not. There are solutions to that. So I will just highlight one here, and I have no affiliation to this. Starlink is a very useful supplier as well. So you might have heard of Starlink. They use satellites to protect internet. They do supply the whole of the UK. So no matter how rural your location is, they can supply you up to 180 megabits a second. So I know a few people who run businesses in my local village. They use that to run businesses, and they have quite a secure line. And again, they do offer a business subscription, but you need to build your package. So if you're absolutely out of options, you've got all these devices, you want to support lots of people, but you're not getting very reliable or fast internet. No one offers fast internet. You might need to look at those other solutions such as satellite internet. And that's just one company that I mentioned, Starlink there, and they do offer business subscriptions as well in there. So just have a look, do a speed check. It might save you a lot of hassle and a lot of money trying to fix a device's resources when you don't actually have the speeds available. And again, just using that one case study, that person can actually get internet 3 times cheaper using a different service than what they're currently using. And again, they were only getting 10 in that case. So it's just not something that would be workable for multiple people. So just popping back to the presentation here. We'll just skip to this one. This one, again, just a quick video around loneliness, and I will just quickly play that one, and then I'll move on to the next one.
Joan was a widow and lived in a small village with no local shops and a weekly bus to the nearby town. With her family having moved away and no friends nearby, she had no one to visit and no one to visit her. She felt she didn't belong in the neighbourhood, and the person she saw most often was her GP. Joan's daughter set her up with a smart screen so she could enjoy talking to her children and telling bedtime stories to her grandchildren, which has led to them staying for weekends. She also uses it for reminders, local news, music, storytelling, and shopping. Joan has begun to use social media and regularly has online coffee chats with old friends. She sees her GP less regularly. And the cost? Some tablets, smart speakers and screens can now be bought for less than £100. And many people can inherit last year's gadgets from family and friends. Low-cost broadband services are widespread, as are monthly SIM contracts. Please also check the services and support available from your local telecare provider. Technology enables.
And again, just a point on this, if you are looking at providing devices such as tablets, computers, just again, that connection piece, that social piece, very important in helping people feel connected, especially if they have difficulty getting out or are lonely and they don't have much of a circle. They might live quite far away from family or friends or whoever it might be. Using these devices can really support that connectivity, and you can pick them up very cheap. You can also pick up very high spec devices for very cheap as well. So there are sites that sell refurbished devices. Usually, I personally always buy refurbished laptops whenever I operate, because usually the computer was just either a display model or a model that a company bought and they never used. So businesses, big corporations, they often buy laptops and devices for all of their employees. So if you've got thousands of employees, they'll buy a huge load of them every year. And this happens every year. They'll buy tens of thousands of computers, tablets, devices. Most of the time they don't ever even turn them on. And then they send them back when they buy the next lot of models. So you get these huge influxes each year of devices that companies have bought and never used, and they mark them down significantly. You can get them for a third of the price that they would be brand new. It's something that I personally do myself. And don't worry if you're looking at security there. The system gets completely wiped. The operating system is completely wiped. They're factory reset. Everything is re-downloaded, installed. There's nothing on there. Just do some trusted research in that one. But it's something that companies do every year. And it's something where you can get quite cheap devices. People look at the word refurbished, they get quite scared. But when you see refurbished in pristine condition, those are usually the devices the company never turned on. And each year they just sell them off again when they buy up the next lot of technology to use their systems. And then finally, we have tech-enabled to support people to live their lives. So
the trauma of a fall and fracture is significant for anyone, but for an older person, it can result in a loss of self-confidence and a fear of being unable to seek help if they do fall whilst alone. This only increases the risk of feeling lonely and isolated. As an example, Winston lives alone in a traditional 2-story house. He's very independent and wants to cope with everyday living struggles without care visits. Winston has fallen twice at night and, by luck, was found. He fears falling again and not being found. To keep his independence, Winston has followed the advice from the local falls team and has had some community aids, such as grab rails, fitted to his house. He's also had a community alarm installed, linked with a fall detector, together with automatic lighting at night. His neighbours act as key holders as a further safeguard. And the cost? Winston pays £3.50 a week for the alarm connection, which is paid for out of his newly awarded benefits. The fall detector and light control is funded by the local council. The community aids are provided free on loan. Technology-enabled care
So again, there's loads of support available to get hold of these devices, and they will assess, again, obviously on a case-by-case basis. And we know it can be quite hard to get hold of those. But again, technology can come very cheap, and it can be very cost-effective. And I'll say again, just do the research, check those reviews. I've just seen a question in there. Is there a link where we can check for refurbished devices? I'm not going to give you a specific link, again, just because I don't have affiliation to the companies that sell these. But if you type in refurbished laptops, refurbished tablets, you'll find there are multiple websites. Again, big trusted companies sell these. So companies that you would shop with usually to buy brand new products, they often sell these refurbished devices as well. And if you go on there, in a lot of cases, you can actually, especially with laptops, you can build the devices yourself. So you can choose how powerful you want it to be. And then with those tablets, etc., if you just do a bit of research on what the latest models are, usually if you go a model down, you'll be able to find those. But it's just doing that research yourself, just to let you know that these companies do big sell-offs each year. So just have a look at those. So as I said, I've put the link on each of these slides to these videos. There are lots and lots of videos on there. I've just used them as an example for a case-by-case basis, just to show how when we assess the needs of someone, there are multiple different technologies out there that we can use to support them. And then if I go, there we are. So finally, I have included a link to alzheimers.org.uk. And the reason for that is, again, they have a whole section of their website which goes through in detail. And again, I've just had a question, what specific time of year? It's usually at the end of the financial year. So if you're looking around April, May, June time, you usually get these big sell-offs, even just before that, so March. So you're usually looking around that time of year when they get in all their new stock. So that's when I would look. But you can buy refurbished devices any time of year. So it doesn't have to specifically be those. It's just if you're looking for those latest models, usually they do their sell-offs around their financial new year. Now I'm just going to take you across to, again, this website, and I'll make sure I've got it open. I have many different, here we are. So we'll go back across to here. So this is the website. This is the link I've supplied you with to Alzheimer's Society. So they have how technology can help. Again, you can use this as an educational piece or for yourself when you're assessing needs or looking at technology. If we scroll down slightly on here, they have one specific link to memory problems, keeping safe, socializing, safer walking. So if we click on these, if you go down, they will show you different tech-enabled devices that you can use to support each of these. So if I go on each of them, keeping safe has their own, socializing, safer walking. And if we go down to the bottom, they then have a shop in here. So they have an online shop. Again, that'll go across this final link. And this shop, if I just click back, they have lots of devices. So these are helpful products that they've put together themselves to support people. And again, these don't have to just be technology. These can be really anything to support people. But there's loads in here, as you can see. They have all their different subheadings. If we just go to help around the home, if I was to click in shop here, go down, these are just devices which they've pulled together themselves. And again, it's just to get an idea of what is out there to support people. And these can range from things such as foldable walking sticks. And again, they have lots of different things in here, even night sensors on stairs at night, which will come on, sense activity, loads and loads. It isn't just technology. So loads on there. And that's why I've included that. It's just a resource where they've pulled together lots of different items that can support different needs. And if we go to the edge, they do have filters in here too. But you can search through each of these. And as I say, I've included that. These are helpful products that they have put together and sourced themselves. So as I said, lots and lots of products on there. It's a huge topic, and that's why I keep reinforcing that point. And we all know, I'll probably reiterating a point that we definitely all know, which is assessing people case by case. But I've tried to pull together different resources into one area which I can send out to you for you to make those informed decisions yourself. But as I say, when we look at technology, it really does stand from a point of, if we can find a problem, there probably is a solution in terms of technology. And then it's doing the research on that, obviously making sure you are checking reviews, but really important, if you are a care home or an organization, and you have lots of devices relying on this, or you're about to purchase lots of devices or get lots of support, you need to make sure you have the infrastructure in place to handle those devices. And it can be as simple as just making sure you have the right broadband in place that can support, and do run those speed checks. It's something that I come across time and time again, and for the past few years, it's something I've come across in the care sector. Devices not working effectively, and it falls down to the broadband package the person has. So do check that. I've also included some further support on the screen as well. So we do have our website here, which you can go across to. As I said, we do have that session running tomorrow on cybersecurity, and this does play hand in hand with system integration. So if you are buying systems, or you're going to be using systems to support people in care, or yourselves or staff, it might be important that you come onto that, because I can show you how to keep systems safe and what to look out for. If you go straight to the first page of our website, and I will pop that into the chat right now for you, you can see it's here tomorrow at 11 a.m. And you can book on following this link, and then you can keep an eye out for all of our future sessions. And again, if I just pop back to the PowerPoint, we also have a link to the Eventbrite on here too. So that's our Eventbrite, which also has all our sessions listed, but we do put those on the site. And then I've included my email as well. So if you do need any additional support, so any digital support, any one-to-one support, any again, I support lots with NHS mail and proxy ordering as well, please do reach out to me. My email is there on the screen. But just want to grab your attention just for the final few minutes, just on just another piece which I just want to go through for you today. And again, I will hand over to Nada if I miss anything here as well. I appreciate you've had lots of information. But before we get any questions, this is all around a system which is coming, which is the Plexus Care Record. Now, we all know how important it is to have a shared care record. We know the pitfalls that are in place when we're not getting through all the information on our residents, our patients, and how certain things to be quite time critical. We can overlook things. It can cause problem with prescribing medications. There are loads of issues that are arisen from this, and there is a new system that is coming, which is Plexus Care Record. And as you can see, their aim is to work towards a truly integrated health system, and obviously one that will work, and one that will work with lots of different online systems. And so I've included lots of information on here on this. We will be providing lots of additional information on this going forward, so please keep an eye out. Very useful record, and it's for those practitioners, healthcare record in Sussex, so it's something that's coming in place. I'm just going to hand over to Nada quickly. Obviously, Nada, you've been on many more meetings than I have around Plexus. Is there anything that you'd like to add quickly on this?
So basically, it is a shared record for Sussex. At the moment, we are looking for 200 care homes. It will be expanded to include all care providers in Sussex, but at the moment, we are looking for 200 care homes. It is very similar to GP Connect. So if you have got GP Connect, you will know roughly what it is. So you will be able to access people's basic details, such as their name, address, date of birth, GP, telephone number, etc. Summary that will include the last 3 encounters, active problems, adverse reactions, allergies, acute medications, any current repeat prescriptions. It will include information about medications, allergies, and adverse reactions, immunization record, and community care plans. Now, community care plans are the really interesting bits. It is a little bit not working at the moment, but they are expecting it to start working very shortly. So you will be able to access care plans held by local authorities, by community services such as community physios, community nurses, mental health care plans, etc. So Plexus will be much more wider than GP Connect. So similar to GP Connect, but in very soon, they're expecting it end of August, will be better than GP Connect because it will include more information. So that's really very quickly about Plexus. If you are interested, do let me know and I'll send you a form. Basically, it's expression of interest form, very short, to take you 2 minutes to complete.
Excellent. So do we have any questions at all? So either on the content we've already provided, additional support, or Plexus that we mentioned. If you've got any questions, please do pop them in the chat or raise a hand as well on, again, next to your name and the participants, or even come off mute. And if you've got any questions, please let us know now. If not, thank you so much for coming along. We can get all these out to you. We got one from Rosemary. The Plexus form mentioned would be handy, please.
I'll put Plexus form in chat now, which I hope will be useful. So it is expression of interest. That's all it is. I'd say it's literally very, very short. So I'll pop that in chat now. Sorry. It is not to Sam Harper, to everybody.
I've done that one before and then wondered why no one was replying.
There you go. So it's very quick, and you know, with expressions of interest, if you're not interested in after 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 days, you just go, I'm not interested. So it won't cost you anything. By the way, Plexus is completely free. Yep, so you should all see that link now. So if that is of benefit to you, please click through to that. And as Nana mentioned, it is free. But as said, does anyone else have any other questions, anything you can think of at all? Please do let us know now. But if not, thank you so much for coming along to the session. Thank you very much, Sam. I found this really fascinating. It's the first time we've done it, but I thought it was brilliant. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. So again, make sure if you book on if this is something of interest or just in general for supporting yourself. It does apply to all areas of technology. It's not just healthcare. So even keeping yourself safe or families, friends, cybercrime is a huge issue. And I believe it can be tackled so easily if we just have the right steps in place and know what we're looking for. So please book onto that session if you do have time, or let anyone else know if they can book onto it. That is tomorrow at 11. So hopefully I'll see you there. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you and goodbye.